It's time for Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors on ESPN 102.7 FM and 104 The Score in Glasgow. Brought to you by Bowling Green Refrigeration, Heating and Cooling and Renegade Marine and Outdoor Center. With your host, Brian Webb. Also starring John Kirby and Sergeant J.D. Williams from Mohawk Outdoors. Josh Honeycutt from Realtree Outdoors. Also made possible by Swagger Bipods, the Van Store, Bowling Green and Glasgow. Your Can-Am headquarters. J&K Used Cars on the Bypass, United Furniture and Appliance. Our national sponsor, Big & J Long Range Attractants. Segments in part by Rockcastle Shooting Center, The Rock, and Renegade Marine, featuring Realtree's Michael Pendley Timber 2 Table Wild Game Recipes. Made possible by Pabst Beef Jerky, fueling your outdoor lifestyle. And all phone interviews via the Linex of Bowling Green hotline. Get ready for all things outdoors. Here's your host, Brian Webb.
I am Southern Kentucky Great Outdoors. I am your spirit of the wild, my brother. God bless America. God bless Kentucky. God bless working hard, playing hard, American families in the asset column. We are blood brothers.
It's time. Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors right here on ESPN 102.7. You're listening to us in Glasgow on the new 104 The Score. Fun night here. We're going to talk a lot of different things. Getting ready to get Timber to table. Pabst Beef Jerky on the line. Before we do that, let's introduce our hosts in studio. John Kirby, as always, the trusty John Kirby. Just got back from a little vacay yourself. We missed you the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I know, man. It's been out a couple of weeks. I feel like not been at home forever. We went on vacation, had a good time with the wife and kids. I still couldn't tell you where we went. I know we were on a ship somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico. I think we were in the Caribbean at some point. But we had a good time, and I'm glad to be back.
I'm glad you're back, buddy. We missed you. And in studio is our good buddy Sam Kirtley from United Furniture and Appliance. What's up, man?
Hey, Brian. We're glad to be here today.
I know. I always know when I see him. It must be fall because he comes on. He sponsors all the way through the holidays. We love having you on, man. I'm glad you're in the studio.
Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. And he's a listener of the show.
Absolutely.
That makes it even better. He listens. And got Garrett in the studio, too, on the ones and twos, hooking us up with all the good sounds and the breaks. Folks, we got a pretty good show. We got Michael Pendley, Timber to Table, getting ready to bring him in. But I want to tease it up. We got Josh Kinser, Big & J Long Range Attractants, our national sponsor. Two sponsors on the show tonight. I like that. When that happens, we're going to do the Renegade Marine and Fishing segment later. That's where you'll hear Sam, and he's got some things to do, or I'd be making and shackling him for the whole show. But maybe we'll get him back in before Christmas to do it again. But well, let's jump in right now. We got Michael Pendley, Realtree Outdoors on the Linex hotline. Linex Bedliners, Roger and Gina, Louisville Road, Porter Pike intersection. Trust me, do not go anywhere when you're doing anything to the bed of your truck. Let them do it over there. Roger is like a scientist over there. It'd be cool to go watch him. Michael Pendley, can you hear me? Got your ears on?
I can. How's it going, guys?
It's going good, man. It's going really good.
What's happening with Michael Pendley?
Same old. Winding down from youth season and getting ready for black powder season this weekend. So
Absolutely. Great time to be a hunter right now, isn't it, Michael? I know you guys are raring to go. How was the youth season?
It was good. Pot Roast and I went down to the family farm and hunted. Saw, I think, 9 different bucks
Nice.
over the weekend. Saw one shooter, but we only got to see him for about 2 seconds.
Did y'all see some bucks cruising, Michael?
We did. Several daytime bucks, even some late morning bucks came cruising through some of the food plots. Didn't see any chasing at all. Had some does around us, but we did see some fairly mature bucks up on their feet. We had a nice 3.5-year-old 10-pointer that just wasn't quite what he wanted. He came within 30 yards of us late morning on Saturday morning. So we saw some bucks up and about, so it was a good weekend.
That's awesome. And I think I read, Michael, where this youth season was probably kind of bittersweet for you. Was it pot roast last?
It was.
Yeah.
He's the youngest, and it was his last early youth deer season. Of course, we've got the late one this year. That late December weekend.
Yeah, the free weekend.
Yeah, but the October weekend's always kind of special for us. It's kind of the kickoff to the gun seasons for everybody. And I'm going to be honest with you. it made me a little bit sadder than I thought it was going to.
I wanted to tell John, you got the tears out last week on the show. John was out. We hit on that last week, John. He broke down on air almost. We had to,
that's cool. That just means it means a lot to him.
Absolutely,
that's
man.
great to hear.
Well, before we jump into a recipe, I wanted to talk to you. I know you saw where SOKY's Outdoors was nominated for Best Local Talk Show in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. We didn't get it. We got second, Mike. I don't know.
That's still pretty good, but I think you got robbed.
I know, man. Me too. I know, me too. I mean, this is a great show, and like a few people told me, hey, I guarantee you next year you guys will win that. So I'm looking forward to it. We were still up for one. And John might get to go down and accept with Josh if we get that one. And what is that one, John, we're up for? The SEO?
The SEOPA Awards.
Yeah, SEOPA.
Yep.
I'll be down there, too. So.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll be down there with Josh next weekend. We try to make the SEOPA conference anytime we can. So we're going to be headed down to Mississippi next week.
Very cool. And hope we take that one down there, man. Great show. It's amazing how much it's grown, Michael, over the years. And, me and John been in here digging it out ever since day one, and we've had some awesome people come through, some guest hosts over the years, but none better than Michael Pendley. And I saw your post earlier, man. What do you got in the oven?
Well, we got something a little different this week. One of the good things about the Traeger pellet grills is you can treat them just like an oven. You can bake in them just like you would your kitchen oven. The temperature control is pretty precise. In fact, I keep a thermometer in my kitchen oven, and it fluctuates actually more than the Traeger grill does. So it's pretty steady. So we baked tater tots in it this week. Just frozen tater tots like you get at the grocery, just like you bake in the oven. We put them on a baking sheet, a grilling sheet. It's got little holes in it. It's designed to grill stuff. And put it on the Traeger and grilled them until they were crisp. And while they were grilling, we put some seasoned up venison steak on the grill with them and cooked those to a nice medium rare. And while everything was on the grill, we mixed up a beer cheese sauce. It's just a little bit thinner beer cheese, not like you would dip your crackers or chips in, but just a little bit thinner for a sauce. And once those tater tots were done, we put them in a big bowl. We poured that beer cheese over the top of them, sliced up that venison, put it on top, and then topped it all with some jalapeno peppers.
Jalapeno. Jalapeno on a stick. Oh, that's
that
great.
Sounds pretty good. Sounds like that'd be a good recipe for deer camp too, Michael Pendley.
It would. It would be a perfect recipe for deer camp because you're doing pretty much all of it on the grill, and there's not a whole lot of prep involved. It's pouring the tater tots out of the bag onto the tray and slicing up the venison once it's done cooking. And you can use a back strap or a top round, either one. You just want something that's fairly tender, and slice it up in little bit thin slices and sprinkle that over the top of that cheese and tater tot. And, you can sit and eat a whole bowl of them before you know it.
What, with the rut kind of approaching, and we've got some folks listening maybe that are kind of thinking the all-day sit, the dark-to-dark sit maybe is kind of on their mind or starting to get on their mind anyway. What are some good snacks and stuff to kind of keep you fueled up in the stand all day, Michael?
Yeah, I like, of course, I'm a big fan of jerky of any kind. They either beef jerky, Pabst beef jerky, or...
I saw you got some. He texted me the other day.
I did get some the other day. That's good stuff.
I told you, dude.
Eastern Kentucky, so we went down to pick up a new puppy for a pot roast. He got him a squirrel dog now.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, he got him a 7-week-old mountain feist from a breeder down there in Eastern Kentucky that has got a really nice line of champion squirrel dogs. But anyway, while I was down there, we stopped in the gas station, and there it was on the counter, so I snagged me a few bags, and that's pretty good stuff.
It is unbelievable. You know what I like about it? It's the thinness of it, man. When I was a kid, my papa owned a country store, and the first time I ever discovered shaved ham, and that's what it reminds me of. It's not like, you don't break a molar on this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do. I like the texture, and I really like that Grippo's flavor, too. Just the right amount of sweetness and a little bit of heat. But I'll tell you what goes well in a deer stand, with that jerky, I'll carry me a few sticks of string cheese, like you give the kids for their school lunch.
Oh, yeah.
That goes great with jerky in the stand. It's easy to eat. Kind of keeps you going a little bit. and peanut M&Ms. I'm a big fan of peanut M&Ms.
Oh, I love them too.
Absolutely. And we've talked about this on the show, you and I both, Michael. So this is nothing new, but just to kind of to reiterate, and I know this is something that you do as well. But taking those snacks, whatever it might be, out of the original packaging and have it in something that you can get to easily and quietly is a huge thing, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. I don't think there's anything louder in the world than the package that candy or Little Debbie cakes or anything like that.
Exactly.
For some reason, when you try to handle those in the woods, it sounds louder than just about anything you do.
And I know you saw that. I know you saw that video on Facebook that's been kind of circulating the last month with that with a gentleman that took his daughter out hunting for the first time.
The bag of chips.
The bag of chips.
Yeah. I've been there. I felt it. So, but yeah, I always like to, like you said, put them in something a little bit quieter. Even a little plastic container with a snap-on lid works pretty well because you can pop that lid off without making any noise, and it keeps them from getting crushed in your backpack. So
absolutely, and you can throw any kind of wrappers that you've accumulated, kind of keep it all organized there, a little trash so you can pack it out easy and not to leave anything behind. Always good, too. We got just a couple more minutes here. Michael, what you guys getting ready for the muzzleloader, I'm sure?
We are. We actually, it had been so dry up here that we kind of held off on putting out any fall plots. But with a little rain coming in last night, and we actually got a pretty good rain out of it, so I was happy. But we went out yesterday afternoon and tilled up a couple of small plots and put some fall plot mix down with some wheat and a little bit of winter oats and some rape and some other brassica turnips and stuff. So I don't know if we'll have time to get any of it up, but we might. And it was definitely worth it to give it a shot. So.
Well, absolutely. And even if you don't get a chance to really take advantage of hunting over it, it's going to help that deer herd through the winter when they need it most, help those bucks recover from a long rut.
Right.
Yep.
It's going to be a late season. It ought to be a pretty popular spot. So.
Yep.
Pendley, we know we love you, baby. And thanks for grabbing that Pabst beef jerky because I want that to be fueling your outdoor lifestyle like it does. Everybody visit PabstBeefJerky.com and buy in bulk. That's what I do. I appreciate you, Pendley, and we will be looking at you and talking at you next week. Hopefully we'll have some good news when you boys get back from that conference.
Sounds good.
All right,
Thanks,
folks,
Michael.
follow him on Twitter and Instagram. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back. We got Renegade Marine and Outdoor Center fishing segment. We'll talk a little fishing. We'll also talk a little furniture with Sam Kirtley, our guest host tonight. Don't go anywhere. Southern Kentucky's Great Outdoors, ESPN Radio 102.7, 104, The Score.
If your business needs to cool, chill, or freeze, or warm, heat, or cook, you know you can't afford to disappoint. That's why you call BG Refrigeration, because BG Refrigeration never disappoints. They satisfy any heating or cooling need your business may have. Factories, restaurants, malls, plants, big industrial warehouses, doesn't matter. BG Refrigeration is who you call. Commercial heating and ducts, AC maintenance and replacement, commercial refrigeration, restaurant equipment, cold storage warehouses. BG Refrigeration ensures your heating and cooling needs are met so your business doesn't suffer. Walk-in freezers, exhaust systems, pizza ovens, ice makers, whatever heats or cools. If it's restaurant related, BG Refrigeration is, by far, the best company in South Central Kentucky to service them. In fact, there are a few companies that can or will even try to do what BG Refrigeration does every day. They're the company that's called in for the big jobs that require more experience, that need to be done right the first time. Why would you trust your business's commercial heating and cooling needs to anyone else? Turn to the experts. Call BG Refrigeration at 270-782-5391, where your comfort is their concern.
Summer's gone and you still don't have a Tracker, Nitro, Regency, or Sun Tracker boat. Don't wait. Get to Renegade Marine today so you've got that new Tracker, Nitro, Regency, or Sun Tracker boat for next summer. Get on the water next summer with Renegade Marine's huge selection of boats, with financing available so you can find the boat you want at a payment that fits. Service available too to make sure you're on the water as much as possible. Get to Renegade Marine, your authorized Tracker, Nitro, Regency, and Sun Tracker dealer. Just off the Western Kentucky Parkway, exit 107, or online at renegademarine.net.
In stores now, Pabst Grippo's Beef Jerky. We have taken the great Pabst Beef Jerky and married it with the iconic Grippo's barbecue seasoning. This is a marriage made in beef jerky heaven. The thin cut of Pabst Beef Jerky is dusted to perfection with Grippo's seasoning. Once you try it, you will know no other beef jerky compares. So the next time you're headed on a road trip to the lake or your favorite golf course, be sure to have Pabst Beef Jerky fueling your outdoor lifestyle. PabstJerky.com. Ask for us at your local store.
This is a Morgan & Morgan consumer message.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. I am often asked, what is the value of my case? The answer, of course, depends on your injuries, liability, and the damages to you financially. And it also very much depends on the law firm you hire to represent you. Many times, firms are hired without much thought or research. All firms are not the same, not even close. I know of firms and lawyers who haven't tried a case in years, maybe never. The insurance company knows who they are, too. Some lawyers need the money more than you do. Go to forthepeople.com and look at our verdicts in court. Here you will see injuries just like yours. You will see what the insurance company offered and, more importantly, what a jury decided. You will have an idea what your case may be worth in our hands. And just because you've already hired a lawyer doesn't mean you can't fire them before it's too late. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been here at your time of need. On your cell, dial Pound Law. Pound Law, that's all. Offices, Bowling Green.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
It's time to go fishing with Renegade Marine and Outdoor Center, 415 Commerce Drive, Litchfield, Kentucky, on SOKY's Great Outdoors.
Thanks for sticking around. In studio, John Kirby, Brian Webb here, your host. And we're joined by Sam Curley. What's up, man?
Brian, I just tell you, it made my day when you asked me to be here today. So I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you, man. And let's before we jump into some fishing, let's talk a little bit about what you guys have got going on, because this is a pretty special thing, this free furniture thing, you guys. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's right. Well, we're in our 23rd annual free furniture. And we started it 23 years ago. February was our worst month by far on average. And so we just trying to come up with an idea, kind of, spur sales on a little bit. And we came up with this free furniture concept. And there's 28 days in February, and we gave 28% in free additional furniture or mattresses. Just kind of a little thing to, if things are on sale, plus you get an extra 28% bonus credit towards something else. So it was so successful, we couldn't wait a whole year to do it. So we decided, well, we're going to run it in October, too. So we run it the whole month of October, and like I said, this is our 23rd annual. Now February is one of our best months ever, during the year. So we look forward, and our customers look forward to free furniture.
We were talking about this off air, Kirby. I mean, you don't, if you're from around here, there's no way you don't know United Furniture.
Exactly.
Who could ask for anything more? See, I know that thing. I've heard it. It's a jingle. It's good stuff. That's how it works. It's memorable. But to take that the showbiz part of it out, it's because it's a family-owned business, and you hear that said a lot. But I mean, when you see something that's been open for 73 years or 4, you know that obviously, John, they're doing something right, and they're repeating it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just incredibly impressive to be open that long. And same location too, downtown, right?
Yeah, that's been amazing. We've got a great location downtown. We love being downtown, and my grandfather, he started the business, and my dad and my uncle owned it for years, and kind of turned the reins over to me. But I'm just thankful for the family that's worked there throughout the years. We just had some great employees, and we got great customers too.
Well, you got a lot of repeat customers, and you said something pretty profound to me earlier. You have repeat children and offspring and siblings of those customers, so that just multiplies.
Repeat generations.
That's so cool.
Yeah, just like we're a third generation family owned business, we got 3 generations of customers
that's great
shopping
right
United.
I think that speaks to not only, on the business side of things, you're running a great business, but you have to be good people to be able to do that too,
Yeah, we're not perfect, but we certainly try to treat, people the way they like to be treated, and we take care of our customers the best we know how, and we're just, like I said, God has blessed us, and we're very thankful for that.
Amen to that, Sam. And, we're going to talk a little fishing. But where can somebody? You guys got a website? You guys got? You're no stranger to the net. You're a tech savvy guy.
Yeah, UnitedFurnitureAppliance.com. You can find us there. Certainly, you can find us downtown, same location, 10th and State Street.
I'm glad you guys don't change the green. And I mean, it looks so good. I mean, you guys nailed it the first time. You know? No need to mix it up. You know, it looks great.
It's been probably 20 years since that's been painted. It used to be a brown, and the green looks a lot better.
Pops,
but it does pop.
as the kids
It would
say.
throw the world off its axis if I came around the square and
And
it
it
was
wasn't
anything
there.
other than that.
I know, it would freak you out.
Absolutely.
It would. That's so great, John. Well, let's talk a little bit about this time of year, Kirby. And Kirby lives at Barron, so I checked the water temperature around 72. You know, and with these cooler nights, John, it's going to drop. You're going to lose some of your water behind your place as it recedes a little bit. But
That's right.
We know October is a great time for fishing the flats, obviously. And I mean, I'm going to steal a little bit of stuff here from Lee McClellan. Hope you don't mind. Kentucky Afield, a great resource for bass fishermen and all kinds of fishing, actually. But October, section nearest the channel drop should be probed with about a 1/4 ounce jig, is what he says. And a brown, orange, and green. A lighter jig looks more realistic, Sam. But you need to fish it a little slower when it gets cold, don't you, John?
Absolutely, yeah. And Sam, Brian touched on it. This is a great time of year to fish for a lot of reasons. These fish are trying to fatten up for winter, but you also don't have the activity on the lake with all the boats, right?
Exactly. And speaking of family, I love to fish with my dad. And he's getting up there in years a little bit, and he loves to fish in the spring and the fall. And that's when the weather is a little more tolerable. He doesn't like to fish in the winter, dead of winter, or summer. So I just like to get in the boat with my dad.
Absolutely.
And so that's another reason it's just a great time to get it in there. The fish, getting that prime water temperature between maybe 65 and 75, they're pretty active, and they're ready to eat. And they're storing up for winter. So it's a good time to get out there. It's like I said, the weather is inviting, and even as they start to lower that water, it creates a little bit of current in the lake. So all that's good for fishing.
Absolutely, and like Sam said, having a chance to get out with family, your dad, your kids, a neighborhood kid, somebody that might not be able to fish otherwise. Such a great time to get out and enjoy the outdoors with them as well.
Well, Sam, when you brought up fishing with your dad, I love that myself. That's how I got into fishing. But my dad has no seats on his boat. So anyway, you could get a nice leather love seat, maybe WeatherTech, and go back in the back there and mount that for me so I got a place to kick back.
I'm surprised I hadn't thought of that idea before. Yeah.
Brian's dad, he might allow you to put it on there, but only because he was taking it to his favorite spot. He's going to drop some concrete in it, and he's going to sink it for structure. The only way your dad would have a seat in his boat.
That's a great point. You're absolutely right. Well, let's talk a little more about what Lee was telling us here. He's saying basically, if you're not catching them in the flats this time of year, you want to move to like a channel drop. Swim your jig a few feet above that, and when you're retrieving it, it often fools the lethargic bass that are suspended on these channel drops, and it's a common scenario in the fall, John.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And as those water temperatures drop even more, slowing that presentation down is really key. I'm a crappie fisherman mainly, and the speed of presentation is huge.
Absolutely. What do you got to say on? What do you got to add to that there?
Well, yeah, and also this time of year is when, if you can find the bait fish, the shad, as they move up the creeks, then that's when you can find whether you're fishing for bass or crappie, that type of thing. You can certainly try to locate them. If you can find the bait fish, you can usually locate, crappie or bass. So.
Absolutely, and I'm sure you've noticed, Sam, there is no shortage of bait fish on Barron. We have not had a shad kill, I don't think, in a couple of years anyway.
Very healthy. Yeah, it's a very fertile lake, and the Fish and Wildlife, they've done a great job of kind of maintaining that population. So,
we got the best Fish and Wildlife.
We do, yeah, and Barron. Barron, gosh, I forget the exact dates, but Barron's an older lake, so a lot of that natural structure that started out there is no longer there. And Fish and Wildlife's done a great job of kind of rejuvenate that with the Christmas tree programs they do and adding all that kind of structure, which is great. Barron really it's an incredible lake, and we're so lucky to have it in our neck of the woods.
Yeah, absolutely. Barron, Nolin, Malone, you can get to any of those three lakes within an hour, and they're they're good in their own rights, different times of year, so you just kind of got to get to know the lake just a little bit. It really helps once the drawdown comes if you can get out there on the water and mark some spots and stuff.
It's a great way to learn the lake better, no doubt. And like Sam said, an hour away, you've got all those lakes. Within 2 hours, now you're talking Cumberland, Kentucky, Dale Hollow. A lot of great fisheries in this area.
Absolutely. Well, I got a couple more points to touch on that Lee McClellan says. This guy knows his stuff, and he says like gently. And I didn't know this until I read this. Gently sloping banks make great places to swim jigs early in the fall. So right now where we're at, and here's what I didn't understand that I wasn't aware of, guys. And you touch on this if you knew this already. I'm sure John, one of you guys will know this. Sam, the banks that are compromised of mud mixed gravel or pea gravel. He's saying those are the best because bass will hold on those banks, and they're often unpressured. So that makes sense. I didn't know that, and he says that retrieving a crawfish-colored crankbait, right through there is pretty good bait to attack.
Yeah, I've actually, I'm a visual fisherman in many cases, whether it be looking at the bank, looking at your electronics, that type of thing. My son, whether it be in the springtime, it probably holds true in the fall too. And, sometimes you look at this clay bank and it doesn't look like much, and it's not real attractive. But yet, for some reason, the fish find that appealing. Perhaps it is crawfish and that type of thing. So, yeah, my son is actually, he likes to fish those clay-type banks, and sometimes they got the small rock on them. But, a lot of times I just don't have the confidence to do it,
That's a lot of it. That's why it's not pressured that much.
And he makes a good point, Brian. Everybody has so far. I think those banks, too, aren't visually appealing to fishermen, and as a result, they don't get pressured
that's
nearly.
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
I mean, that's totally it. And he goes on to talk about that. I'll tell everybody, fw.ky.gov. Get on there and check it out. He puts that. They put that in there for fishing wildlife. They run Lee's stuff and at Kentucky Field. So thanks, Lee, for letting us. If it's on the internet, we can read it as long as I give him credit. But I'll add one thing to it, John. And when I read that earlier today, I said, that makes perfect sense because when I fished with Del Holla Dave, that is exactly where we camped out. Pebbly, rocky, it's muddy bank. That's where and there's not a lot of mud down there, but there must be something to that because that Del Holla Dave,
he knows
what he's doing.
Yep.
Folks, we're having a lot of fun with Sam Kirtley, and we're not going to stop now. But Sam, you can stick around for a few more minutes. We're going to go to a break here in a second. We're going to come back and talk a little deer hunting. I don't know what a big deer hunter you are, but right there on the square, man, it's a staple. It's a Bowling Green iconic place, and I love going in there. I've been in there a few times myself, and it's always open arms. And Sam, you're pretty much there all the time.
We're so family friendly, no pressure, low pressure.
I like the no interest credit card thing.
That's right. We've got our own in-store financing, which nobody has. So if you want to come in and just make payments there at United, you can do that. But we also got our private label credit card with 12 months no interest. So,
that's what I was trying to touch on. I'm glad you fixed that for me because
no
RenegadeMarine.net. That's the place to go if you're looking for a boat. And maybe we can get Sherbert and you together and we can design that. Maybe put a love seat in the back, recliner up front.
There you go.
To me, John. And John always says you can't kill them from the couch or catch them from the couch. We can
make a liar out of me.
We can make a liar out of you, Kirby. Yeah. Oh, don't go anywhere. We're going to come back and talk a little deer hunting during the Rock Castle hunting segment. Sam's going to hang out with us a little bit too. But we had a good question for John. He's going to answer that for us when we come back. And then don't go anywhere because big time Josh Kinser, Big J Long Range Attraction, is going to be joining us for a good 18 minutes later. So it's always fun to talk about him. And we might even get some college football out of him. So stick around right here on the dial, 102.7, 104 Score.
Okay, I'm on 65 right now. Which exit do I take?
You're going to want to take I-165.
No, I'm on I-65.
No, take I-165. Should be on the sign.
I'm pretty sure that's not a 1 there. I'm pretty sure that's just another I. I-65?
Aye. Well, ahoy, Polloy.
Look, I'm looking at it. I just don't see a 1 there. It's just I-6.
Suffering from post-natural confusion? See Gary Force Paint and Body Shop. iCar Gold Shop, certified with a lifetime warranty. 311 Vanderbilt Drive behind the Scottsville Road Post Office.
Although hunting to most of us is much more than just harvesting animals, why not better your deer herd's health with Big & J long-range attractant? Big & J is highly digestible, high in protein, and isn't full of preservatives. With Big & J long-range attractants, you're not only exploiting one of the few weaknesses whitetails have, their stomachs, but you're maximizing antler growth, improving overall herd health, and pulling deer from your neighbor's property. So whether your goals are to fill the freezer, kill mature bucks, or both, Big & J long-range attractants will stack the odds in your favor, all the while making your deer herd bigger and healthier.
Man, that looks rough. That one got whacked good.
Yeah, I do know I'm getting sick of cleaning it up.
But it's all about the pay in the long run, right?
Yeah, you're right, but it'd be easier to quicker to go out and take us to Linex or Bowling Green.
Well, in the end, it's all about getting those hogs delivered, right?
You're right, but it sure is a mess. Forget about it.
Keep your bed easy to clean with Linex of Bowling Green, truck accessories, and more. Linex of Bowling Green on Louisville Road, Porter Pike intersection.
Every room in your home, whatever it needs, United Furniture.
It's that time of year again, free furniture that is. United Furniture and Appliance is celebrating our 23rd annual free furniture and mattress event. That's right, you'll receive 28% in free furniture or bedding with any furniture or bedding purchase. Take advantage of United's store-wide savings, plus receive an additional 28% in free furniture or bedding. For instance, purchase a 4-piece bedroom group for $9.99, receive $279 in free furniture or bedding. Sofas, love seats, recliners, bedrooms, mattresses, dinettes, occasional tables, and yes, even lamps, pictures, rugs, and accessories. The possibilities are limitless. In-store financing and delivery available when you want it. Service with a smile for 72 years. United Furniture and Appliance, historic downtown Bowling Green.
United Furniture. Couldn't ask for anything more.
Hunting in these Beverly Hills getting sorry every day. Me and Duke went as far back in the brush as you could go. The only thing we flushed out was a couple of real estate agents.
It's time to do some hunting on SOKY's Great Outdoors, brought to you by Rock Castle Shooting Center at Park Mammoth Resort, 22850 Louisville Road in Park City, Kentucky.
Yeah, thanks for sticking around as promised, as advertised. First of all, top of the hour, Rock Castle Shooting Center Shooting Center Gun Show coming up right at the break, top of the Rock up here. Nick and Nate Noble, they'll be hanging out with you tonight. Last week was a great show. I listened to it all the way home and had some pretty cool stuff on. But we're going to talk a little bit to John Kirby here and Sam Kirtley in the studio hanging out. John, I asked you a question, proposed it to you earlier, and it was profound, your answer. And I said, hey, what if you're a guy that got lucky and everything lined up and you got that big buck during bow season, just exactly like you did, and you're going to write a column about this, you said, coming up, which is very cool, but what does the guy do now? I mean,
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, there's a bunch of things you can do. First of all, my advice is to take a kid. Find a neighborhood kid or your own kids, introduce them. After you've done that, it's a great time to do some doe management, work on getting that carrying capacity of your land just right so that you don't have too many deer on that property. And third of all, and this is I'm pretty excited about this. This is where a hunter can really get in there, and it's basically your catch and release. It's like fishing. You don't have a buck tag left, so obviously you can't harvest a buck, but that doesn't mean you can't target trying to get into bow range with a buck. So it's a great time to really push your limits and push your boundaries and try some new techniques and tactics that you've never done before, and just really great way to sharpen your skills, add some tools into your arsenal. And without the repercussions, if you bump a target buck, you've already killed a buck in Kentucky that year, so you don't have a tag, so the repercussions aren't the same. So it's just a great way to get in there and push your limits, learn new techniques, and just kind of see what you can get away with as a deer hunter. Also a great time to do some still hunting, stalking through the woods, kind of old school. That's a great way to sharpen your skills. Just a lot of great things you can do, even if you don't have a buck tag left here in Kentucky.
Yeah, that's a good point, John. And I was just thinking, although I don't hunt, I love to fish, but don't hunt much. But I've always wanted just to get out there in the woods and just I'm an outdoorsman, but love to be out there and just it's amazing, get out there in the quiet stillness of the field or the woods, and it's amazing what wildlife you'll see.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, and it's a great way to get out and relax and kind of leave everyday stresses behind, kind of recenter
That's
yourself.
Priceless.
And you know that as well as anybody. You're a fisherman and an outdoorsman yourself. So, I mean, you know how valuable that time is to you as a human being sometimes to get out there and recharge the batteries.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you, that makes me want to just get out there and go right now.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. But we were talking off air at the commercial break just a minute ago, and I asked you, Sam, I knew you all had some really good bowlers in your family.
Yeah.
And what was your answer to that?
Well, my Uncle Ed and my dad, they used to bowl, and they came up in a different time, and bowling, was a very popular sport, and there wasn't all the other things to do with social media nowadays that the kids spend time doing. But they bowled together. But my son, my Uncle Ed, he had a son, and he, if you remember that Grease movie where John Travolta, Danny, goes out and he tries all the different kinds of sports, and he's just not real successful at them. Well, that's kind of what my cousin Eddie did. He went out for baseball and football and tennis, and I even tried to give him some tennis lessons. And lo and behold, he was invited to a bowling party. And he went there when he was 12 years old and loved it. It was indoors. It wasn't hot. It wasn't cold. And he was a natural talent. They found, what he loved to do. He had a passion for it. And he ended up going kind of on a local tour while he was in high school. And then he got a scholarship to go to Arizona State.
Wow.
He was the freshman.
Sun Devils.
He was the freshman bowler of the year in the nation.
That is insane.
That's awesome,
He's a
man.
lefty. And anyway, so his senior year, they finished 5th in the nation. That was their top year as a team. But
that's very cool.
Yeah, so it just goes to show you just never know until you try. But yeah, so they've spent a lot of years in bowling alleys and have great memories.
Well, we got a good one here.
Awesome.
I was in there today, Southern Lanes, and that family, the Litton family, they're a bowling family. Holy cow, that's pretty cool. I'm glad y'all brought that up.
You used to do some bowling together, didn't we?
We did some bowling together, baby. We throw that crooked ball down there and slide her in.
That's right.
A lot. Listen, there's a lot of fun to that. I mean, that's especially when you're not the summertime, you don't have a chance to do it as much unless it's at night and it's hot. But man, the wintertime when there's nothing you can do, I mean, that's my go-to is hit the bowling alley.
Absolutely. That's my dad and all his buddies. When it was too cold for their regular Thursday golf game, it was Southern Lanes. They went.
Fun.
Yep.
So much fun to do. John, great job on talking that. Sam, we got a couple more minutes with you before you leave. We'll chat. And you told me a great story before, and I can't repeat it because it's been a while. A couple years ago you were on. But give us, talking about your father, we got 3 or 4 minutes. Give us a great story about fishing with your dad that really stands out.
Gosh, there's so many. We used to, back when I was a little bit younger, in my upper 20s, we would go to Canada. And we would fish, during summertime, we catch walleye, pike, that type of thing. We really didn't go to smallmouth lakes up there, but we had some great Canada trips. But lo and behold, Dad decided he had a place down there in Florida and decided to go in the fall to Apalachicola. And I don't know if y'all have ever heard of fishing in and around Apalachicola, but in the fall time of the year when the bait fish start going up the creeks, the bait fish start going up that Apalachicola River. And we go every pretty much fall break and took my son. So we had 3 generations fishing out of the boat there.
Awesome.
And just had a lot of good memories down in Apalachicola this time of year. And then this was the first year I actually got my son and my dad together going back up to Canada. It had been a few years since we've been up to Canada.
Oh, great.
So
you guys got to do that?
We got
awesome.
3 generations
That's
going
awesome.
up there. And, I wouldn't trade it for anything. And just blessed that my dad's still able to fish. And my son's a great fisherman. He surpassed me years ago. So
and you're probably super happy, and you're fine with that, right?
Yep. I tell you what, I love being his net man. I will go and I will fish, but I tell you what, when he gets one on, hey, I'm his net man, and I love it.
That's awesome. It gives me goosebumps hearing him recount what fishing means to the Kirtley family. What we're doing here, talking about hunting and fishing, really, when you think about the grand scheme, it doesn't mean much compared to faith and family and everything else. But then when you think about it, the outdoors is so important, and it can bring a family together so well, and all those wonderful memories, and it just brings those relationships even closer, I think.
I think that's why camping is so much fun.
Yep.
You're right there. You don't have the distractions. Nate Noble just rolled in. You don't have the distractions, and I think that's the most probably wonderful thing about the outdoors, John, is exactly what you were just alluding to right there. I mean, it closer to nature, closer to God. That's the way I look at it.
Amen.
You know.
Yep.
And real quick, last minute here, Sam, I want to touch on something that you do that we always talk about. Is that bass tournament for that young man? And when does that come up?
That's right. So we do that the first Saturday in May, and this last year we got kind of rained out and flooded out actually.
Oh, that's right. That
was
that crazy.
Yeah.
week,
So it's always Derby Day, first Saturday in May, but we had it first Saturday in June this year. But yeah, we had the third annual David Hurd Memorial Fishing Tournament. And it's just in memory of David Hurd, who was my son's best friend, a family friend of ours, and they grew up fishing together. And he lost his life 4 years ago on Barron River. He was fishing up at the lake by himself, and he wasn't wearing a life jacket. We still don't know to this date what happened, but all that being said, we wanted to do something in his memory, and we've established a scholarship fund.
WKU, right?
Yeah, WKU.
Awesome.
And so each year we hope to contribute to that. We're very close to $15,000 in the College Heights Foundation there. And they give out 2 to 4 scholarships each year to recipients. And so,
wonderful.
Yeah, it's a good time to get together. And like John was mentioning, we invite anybody 12 and under to come fish in the tournament.
And
free.
and you guys here lately have had ultimate fisherman, kayak division.
Yeah,
I mean,
I had friends.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I had friends that wanted to participate but didn't have boats, but they had kayaks. So I said,
go.
"Come on,
Why not,
we'll make
man?
it happen." So we had their own division, and so it's just a good time to get together. It's good for the family. A lot of friends are there to support the herds, and thank you all very much for helping us promote that.
Oh, absolutely.
And speaking of Rockcastle,
right here
Nick and
he
Nate, they have been just willing participants and sponsors in our tournament the last few years too. So we thank them.
You
also.
can't come in this unless you're good folk. That's all we have, ain't John? Good folk.
Right.
You know,
That's
and we're looking at one right here in Sam Kirtley. United Furniture. Go down there and get you something nice for that house. If you just bought a new one, folks, Sam will he'll pretty much come in there and he'll get you set up.
Yeah, well, we carry furniture, appliances, electronics,
get it all.
and mattresses. So we
get it all.
We carry it all.
And check back maybe in a couple months. We'll work on getting that boat rigged up. Maybe.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm going to Photoshop one later tonight so we know what
there
it
you
looks
go.
like. Don't go anywhere, folks. Thanks to Sam for hanging out. Sam Kirtley in the studios for John Kirby, Brian Webb. We're going to come back. We're going to have Josh Kinser on the Line X hotline, Big and J Long Range Attractants, and Swagger Bipods. ESPN 102.7, 104 The Score.
This is Nate from Rock Castle Shooting Center. Did you know that one of the premier shooting ranges in the world is right here in South Central Kentucky? Rock Castle Shooting Center has something for everyone's recreational shooting enjoyment. From 3D archery to our brand new sporting clays course, handgun ranges full of steel to targets out to a mile. There's no better place to get some trigger time than Rock Castle Shooting Center. Non-members are welcome, and memberships start at $150 per year. We offer a fantastic range of firearms training and education opportunities from the most basic to the most advanced. Come see us, exit 48 on I-65, Park City, Kentucky. Visit rockcastleshootingcenter.com.
Another summer's gone and you still don't have a Ranger or Triton boat. Get ahead of the game and get on the water next summer with a new Ranger or Triton boat from Renegade Marine. You'll find a huge selection of boats, whatever kind of boat you're looking for, new and used, you name it. Financing available so you can find the boat you want at a payment you won't mind making. Service available too to make sure you're on the water as much as possible. Don't wait until next summer. Get to Renegade Marine, your authorized Ranger and Triton boat dealer, just off the Western Kentucky Parkway, exit 107, or visit online anytime at renegademarine.net.
It's not luxury, it's fuel. And at Southern States, we know that when the temperature drops, the water needs heating. Or when it's dinner time, you need to know your tank is full. Count on Southern States to be your local propane supplier. Call today for a fill-up. Have a competitor's tank? No problem. Southern States offers a tank swap out at no cost to you. Call Southern States Co-op in Bowling Green, Franklin, and Russellville today and talk to them about taking care of your propane, heating oil, or diesel fuel for your home, farm, or business. Because empty is never an option.
When Poston Electronics opened in Bowling Green back in 1974, it sounded more like this.
Turn it up, man!
Now Poston is as legendary as the artists Southern Kentuckians hummed through the speakers they've bought there for the last 45 years. Poston is everything audio with top brands like JP Audio and Alpine. From home theaters, boats, motorcycles, side-by-sides, custom work, installation, service, or sales, Poston still has the sound. Turn it up, man. Poston Electronics, across from Firestone on Broadway Avenue.
Outdoors fans, it's time for the one and only Josh Kinser, BigandJ.com. Get on there, find out all about it. Pull your neighbor's deer over to your property with Big and J. Nate Noble's in. Nick will probably be in later. Nick coming tonight for the gun show. Nick will be in there later. But we got Nate hanging out with this interview and our man John Kirby, writer extraordinaire now. That's pretty cool. I love that. But nobody beats this guy. The best product out there on the market. Also, marketer for Swagger Bipods, which is also right up Nate Noble's alley there. But we're going to have him right now without further ado on the Line X Hotline. Welcome back, Josh Kinser, one of our favorite sponsors, man. What's up?
Man, that was like the coolest intro I've ever...
You deserve that kind of intro, baby. You deserve it.
I feel like I should be going to go fight the Undertaker or something, not talk about deer feed.
Like UFC.
Thanks, and you're welcome, Josh, from the producer.
All right, guys.
What's happening with you, Josh Kinser?
Man, I just got back from the ranch, planted 18 acres, got it all done yesterday and this morning for all the storms, and then I watched the storms part and go on either side of me. So,
you watched what?
The storms.
Oh, gotcha.
They just sort of parted and went on either side of me. I think we got a chance tonight. We got a little bit of sprinkle, but I'd like a lot more rain. I have a lot of dove and a lot of quail, so that seed
doesn't last long. Huh?
Yeah, I mean it's covered, but birds seem to know how to use their beaks to get it.
Yeah. What? How long has y'all's deer season been in as of right now, Josh?
September 28th.
September 20th. How's things going down there? Where are y'all at right now?
And we had a really big buck targeted that I was going to try to get a writer on. Brian McCumbee, he writes for like NRA and a couple other different magazines, and we had this deer. He was showing up. He was hitting BB squared it had been since September 10th or so. He was there almost every night, and he'd been out in daylight, several times. First night, I thought it was the night, it was like Sunday night, so it was Monday night, and it had rained prior to that. So it rained Monday afternoon, cooled it off a little bit. I thought this is the night. Well, he came out, but it was an hour after dark, according to the trail camera, and, it greened up, and I haven't seen him since. So, don't know where he is, but we got some does down. I've got some good looking bucks I'm seeing. We're still having a lot of heat, so we're still having a lot of nighttime movement.
Right. What about that 2.5-year-old with the drop tine? Have you seen?
Oh, I saw him. He looks he's got the drop tine. He looks exactly the same. I forgot to send you a picture of him, but yeah, he's basically the exact same frame. He just looks like slightly bigger version. I mean, once you see him, I'll text you the picture now, but it's no doubt. I mean, you're like, oh, there he is. Looks exactly the same.
That's awesome. How many inches would you say he packed on, Josh?
Not enough.
Yeah.
But he still has a drop time, so I don't know, 10, 15, maybe.
Gotcha.
But I'll find him, and then y'all can remark on it here in a second. But
awesome.
I mean, I was so happy to see him too, and I was just going through trail cam photos. I was just like.
All right, I think we lost him. He's sitting there messing with his phone. He probably hung up on it, John, trying to text you his picture.
That's right.
Our man G-Man will get him back on the line. But while we're doing that, what's going on up the rock, Nate?
Well, talking about deer hunting, I went out this last weekend looking for scrapes. I thought there'd be more than there were, and I didn't find any.
Really?
And today I found a couple.
Did you?
They're starting. Yeah, I think this cool weather is going to get them kicked off a little bit.
Yeah, I started a couple mock scrapes about a week and a half ago, Nate, that have been opened up since, and they're being used a lot. So like you said, you're going to start really seeing them open up.
And then we got the Blue Ridge Mountain 3-Gun Championship going on this weekend. So.
Boom.
Y'all going to be busy.
A house full of 3-gunners.
I loved it last month.
A couple of them are coming on tonight
like
on the gun
50 vets
show.
in your parking lot last month, wasn't there?
Tons of
cool.
vets.
That was cool. We got him back. Garrett's got him back online. What's up, Josh? You got us?
Man, I don't know. I was just sitting there talking about bucks, and then I looked down and my phone was calling me.
Must have been PETA or something. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Josh, what do you that scenario you were talking about? You're trying to get that rider on a buck. You got some hot weather, and it's just moving after dark. What do you do in South Texas when that happens? Is that deer probably just bedded too far to get to that feeder before dark? Is that likely what's happening, and how do you kind of approach that situation?
You know, I mean, it's funny, but you know how you solve that situation? You wait till mid-November to hunt.
Exactly.
You know, I mean,
but you know, and so many people just aren't willing to do that, though. You know, and they ruin their chances.
And I'm not. You know,
right?
I have found, you know, you can find there's days where you'll have those, you know, early in the season. We don't have acorns, so we don't get that issue. But you know, I try to hunt somewhere near water, and you know, where there's water, when it's hot. I feel like there's places that we have that you will see bucks in the late afternoon, and every time they're coming from the direction of that water.
Yeah. What about morning hunting this time of year, Josh? Is you doing more harm than good, or how do you approach that in South Texas this time of year?
You know, honestly, I know that there's this thing out there about morning hunting in the early season, and I think there might be some truth to that in food plots and whatnot, but I think it's also an excuse to just be able to drink a few more beers at night and sleep in.
Do you need any excuse for that, Josh? Really?
You know, I mean, I think we were hunting early season Kansas, and everybody's like, "Oh, you don't hunt the mornings." We saw more bucks in the mornings, and it was blazing hot. I mean, we saw like 2 bucks in the afternoon hunts. That was it, and everything else we saw, does included, was the morning. So, if you know, and man, that place in Kansas had some amazing deer, and they were out the week before, but it went from highs of 75 to then when we were in that early muzzleloader season, it was highs of 93 every day, and it pushed all those bucks back to 2 to 4 a.m. movements.
Right.
You know, and I think that, you know, I don't know. I think I'm always for hunting mornings when in the summer because that's the only time it's cool.
Yeah, and that's the same around here, Josh. I mean, mornings can be very, very productive, even early season. But around here, we're hunting much smaller pieces of property, and a lot of it is ag. So getting in and getting out is always the problem. You're going to end up, if you don't kill that deer right off the bat, he's gonna get wise to you being in there, and you don't have the room to chase him because we're hunting usually 200 acres or less. You know, so. But I agree with you. Morning hunting can be very, very, very productive if you can get in and out clean.
Yeah, and I'd say that's really Tom Nelson did a really cool video talking about taking the time. You know, everybody sits up there standing and stuff, but taking the time of making an entry and an exit that
Absolutely.
you can get in and out of without being seen. You know, I wish that we had more rain, and because if we could, I'd be planting some of that. You know, what's that Egyptian wheat that grows like 12 feet tall? I'd like that, like you know, have a sidewalk that I snuck into every blind on. But yeah, I you know, I think that's a very important part that often gets overlooked.
Yeah, I totally agree. Where are you at right now, Josh, as far on your ranch in South Texas? And we've talked about this before, but I just kind of want to know where your thoughts are at this point. Now that we've started the 19 season, are you satisfied or happy with the age structure? I know you've done a lot of management on that property. Are you getting more satisfied with the age structure of your deer?
Absolutely, 100%. You know, and now we're getting in. You know, because of those droughts we had, 2011 through 2013. Well, you know, this year is going to be good. But next year will be great, you know, because now we're getting into where we had, You know, and then again, even when we got dry this year, I mean, almost every doe I've seen out there's got twins.
Yep.
So, you know, I'm very happy with it. It's taken time, you know, and I was just talking to our county biologist, and he runs another ranch, and they just got on it, and it's, you know, it takes you 2-3 years just to learn, you know, what you got and where you're at and where the deer are moving from, and it's a process, man.
Absolutely, and you got to feel good where you're at, you know, knowing you're just a year or two away from really all that hard work really kind of paying some dividends. You got to feel like you're in the driver's seat at this point.
It's man, it's deer hunting. I never feel like I'm in the driver's seat. I feel like I feel like I've got a dog collar on and I'm being drug around by a pickup truck.
Well, I know that feeling too, unfortunately.
Hey, we're getting low on time, Josh. I wanted to really quick ask you, give me and John and Nate and Garrett a little bit of a college football update. We're mid-season basically. What have you seen, and what's a great talking point?
All right. Well, I think when you had me on that show, I was talking about, you know, when one of my picks was Michigan in the playoffs. Woo-hoo! Boy,
Army about beat them.
Can I go back on that one?
Yeah, absolutely.
I do think that you know, I said on there that I didn't think Auburn was gonna do much, and I'm gonna stick by that. I think Auburn's gonna fall apart here pretty shortly. Not that I have anything against Auburn, but I haven't been too impressed. Virginia Tech looks horrible. You know, Georgia I thought has looked pedestrian as well. And it kills me because they're like, oh, they don't have really good receivers. I'm like, Georgia's been in the top 5 recruiting for the last 5 years. They should just be reloading. And I tell you what, man, I know y'all are SEC country, but I think the team that I've probably been most impressed with is Oklahoma. Like, have you seen that defense? And Murray can run from sideline to sideline in like 1.2 seconds and make a tackle. I think, you know, Oklahoma's really kind of surprised. I mean, I knew that they were going to be good offensively, but I've been really surprised at that defense.
Well, it may be SEC country, but most of the SEC football teams around this area are pretty poor, so we don't have to worry about that.
We'll go Conference USA because our Hilltoppers are 4-2. We like that.
Hey, man, rock on. It's been an interesting football season for sure, and you know, of course, you know, everybody knew we'd have Alabama, Clemson, and we kind of knew Oklahoma was going to be around, but you know, LSU. I mean, good Lord. Who would have thought we'd been talking about LSU scoring 45 points a game, but has questions on defense? I feel like I'm in Bizarro world. Yeah.
Do you have a good Ed Orgeron impersonation?
Oh man, tell us about it, JoJo. That's my favorite thing when we get down in deer camp. People that haven't seen when he was the head coach at Ole Miss and he did that Hummer commercial. And anybody listening to this, if you have not seen Ed Orgeron's Hummer commercial, you are wrong.
You can Google
fix it.
You need to Google it. Yeah. Need to Google it and watch it. I want to watch it as soon as we hang up. Josh Kinster. Always a pleasure, man. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys at Big and J and Pure Performance and Swagger by Paws, man. And Nick just rolled in, and he's getting ready to talk some great stuff right up your alley, Josh. Plug in there to the ESPN Radio 1027.com out there in Texas. You can listen to him. A lot of people do listen to these guys in Texas. But we appreciate you, man, and thank you so much. I'll get you back on that sports show here pretty soon towards the end of the season here.
Yeah, I feel like I need to make some amends for
yeah, we'll do it.
Hey, we're looking forward to having you down in November, man.
That's
we're going to put some big
we're
Kentucky
excited
bucks.
too.
Can you get in the studio?
Yeah, we might try to make that happen.
Hey, we can do that. We just got to get a buck down.
Yeah, that's why you got to kill one first.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to get it done, man. Looking forward to having you guys.
Absolutely, man. Well, cool. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Yep. Sounds like a plan.
Big and J, Long Range Attractants right there, Josh Kinster. Coming in right now, we're going to set the stage and open it up for the Rock Gun Show coming up. Rock Castle Shooting Center. Don't go anywhere. Nate Noble, thanks to John Kirby, thanks to Garrett Browning. and Sam Kirtley for stopping by. Great having him. Michael Pendley. Josh is on assignment. JD on assignment. It's worked out just fine. It always does. No, we don't all have to be here for it to be a jewel. So check us out on iTunes and ESPN Radio 1027.com and the new 104 The Score.